Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Dennis Walters. I'm the Director of Education Operations at American Ballet Theatre, and I'm honored to host today's Burberry Digital Festival event. Before we begin, I would like to thank you all so much for joining us today as we share our exciting collaboration between American Ballet Theatre and Northern Ballet. I'm excited to sit down today with our special guest. Good afternoon and good evening. Tindall. My name is Dennis Walters. I'm the Director of Education Operations at American Ballet. Sorry about that. I am excited to sit down today with our special guest, Kenneth Tindall, freelance choreographer and artistic director of digital and resident choreographer for Northern Ballet. A former principal dancer, Kenneth's first full-length ballet, Casanova, received much critical acclaim and standing ovations throughout the 2017 tour of the UK, including a sold-out week at Sadler's Wells. The popularity of the show led to its filming and broadcast on Sky Arts. Career highlights include having his first professional commission, winning the production prize at the 26th International Choreographic Competition in Hanover. He has been nominated for several high-profile awards, including Best Classical Choreographer and Emerging Artist at the National Dance Awards, and became the recipient of the Outstanding Achievement in a New Dance Production at the Broadway World UK Awards 2017. Kenneth was nominated for the Best Classical Choreography at the National Dance Awards for the second time in his career in 2018, and won the Audience Award at 2019's Genesis Choreographic Competition for Milwaukee Ballet. Kenneth has a double nomination at this year's Critics Circle National Dance Awards for Best Classical Choreography for his full-length ballet, Geisha, and his one-act ballet, The Shape of Sound. While 2020 put a stop to his UK tour of Geisha, it has seen his digital work receive international recognition with his multi-award-winning dance film, Ego. Be it choreographer, director, producer, or creative director, Kenneth now has a catalog of over 30 works. So quite the resume, Kenneth. Thank you for joining us. And I think my resume leads with, I think I finished in 5th place in a hot dog eating contest one time out of 7 contestants. So I think that's what I bring to the table today.
Equally as impressive, Dennis. Equally as impressive.
Now, Burberry Inspire, the reason why we're here today, is not the first time that our two organizations, American Ballet Theatre and Northern Ballet, worked together, correct?
That's right. In 2016, Northern Ballet commissioned choreographer Kathy Marsden to create her production of Jane Eyre, which then was restaged at American Ballet Theatre in 2019 with 2 of our ballet staff coming over to do that. So yeah, I guess a little fortuitous at that point.
And Jane Eyre was a wonderful gem of a ballet, and it made us at ABT incredibly excited when we learned that Northern Ballet was the cultural partner for dance for Burberry Inspire UK. So Northern Ballet had a year's head start on ABT in Burberry Inspire, and actually got to complete the first year, year 1, uninterrupted by the pandemic. Could you briefly describe what the program originally looked like for you at Northern Ballet?
At Northern Ballet, we try to ensure that we give pupils a rounded experience of what we have to offer, which is so much more than just the dancing. We're incredibly proud of all the offstage talent that makes our company what it is, and Burberry Inspire is the perfect vehicle to highlight the various roles and expertise required to run a successful producing ballet company. We offer a wide range of opportunities in school so that they're accessible to everyone. We offer workshops and schemes of work with professionals in set design, set building, costume design, costume making, and filmmaking, as well as dance lessons. Students are also invited to take part in a residency at Northern Ballet headquarters, where they spend 2 days taking part in various activities and meeting professionals from across the organization. The culmination of the project each year is to participate in a cultural runway with other arts partners and schools. As our pupil contribution to this performance event, we create a dance film with students using their ideas and choreography to highlight their creative journey. One of the biggest highlights of Burberry Inspire program is the cultural experience where the students get to attend a live performance at the Leeds Grand Theatre. Pre-pandemic, we were able to hold student performances, and in year 1, they saw Victoria by choreographer Kathy Marsden, and in year 2, they saw Cinderella by choreographer David Nixon. These performances are key to showing the pupils what ballet companies are there to do, to bring stories to life in beautiful and creative ways. What's so great about Burberry Inspire is that pupils have had the opportunity to learn about all the different skills and talents that go into making a ballet.
And we love the idea of the importance of the cultural experience that from Burberry from the very beginning. And from my first conversation with Leanne and Philippa and the Northern Ballet education team, I instantly felt that we shared a lot of the same values and core beliefs. At EBT, we've based our engagement programs on the idea that every residency needs to have this exchange where the company becomes part of the community, part of the school community. And then in turn, the school community needs to become part of the ABT community, whether that is attending a performance at the Metropolitan Opera House and seeing one of our ballets, or coming to our studios and seeing a studio showing, or participating in a workshop at the studios. Why do you think that the cultural experience is so important to the success of an arts program?
You know, I don't think it's just important, Dennis. I think it's vital. I mean, if we're really to address the issues of inclusivity, diversity, relevance of ballet, then we've got to approach these subjects from the grassroots. And it's projects like these that do that. So I just, again, reiterate that it's vital. And I should also, I guess, speak to my own story. It was through a chance to dance course and a very similar project to this, that I was introduced into the world of dance and to ballet, and without it, I wouldn't have the career that I had today. So I'm super passionate about how we deconstruct sometimes the stigma around our beautiful art form, and how we can galvanize and bring that into communities, and really, I guess, try to bring people in on the journey and say, you know, this could be for everyone if it's given a chance. And it's also our responsibility to how we do that. So yeah, incredibly important.
Yeah, and there's that idea of exposure, of just really exposing as many children and kids and families to the art form, and because you never know where that spark is going to be lit. You just never know. So, Kenneth, let's rewind the clock back to March 2020. And in New York, we see schools start to shut down. All of ABT's touring engagements have become postponed. The same is happening in the UK. So COVID has opened this door where our two organizations reach out across the Atlantic and say, okay, let's get through this together. Our teaching artists worked creatively, lesson plan together, share resources, and ultimately we settled on this concept where we would take work created by students in Burberry Inspire and use that as inspiration to create a series of short dance films featuring dancers from each of the two companies. So let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the teaser from the work we did in 2020 together.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! Yeah, I was building on a lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true stock trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A ball break sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
It really was amazing to watch you spearhead this project during the early stages of the pandemic, and all four of these films turned out just beautifully. Now, going into the next academic year, the theme changed from inspired journeys to inspired places. How did you adjust your approach to the cultural experience when we knew that there was no way that we were going to be getting students into our theaters in either the US or the UK?
Yeah, I think, Dennis, we instantly knew that we had to build upon the success of last year's films. And the idea was raised, could we collaborate to make an original ballet specifically for our students in Burberry Inspire? What at first seemed like a pipe dream suddenly became something that everyone rallied around. ABT was able to secure two incredibly talented choreographers, Zhong-Jing Fang and Stiefel. And Northern Ballet, we were able to utilize our company dancers, staff, crew to bring those visions to life. In addition to creating these dance films, we felt it was equally important to document the process, to share with the students everything that goes into the creation of these works.
Well, then let's jump right into it and share our first film, conceived and choreographed by ABT soloist Zhong-Jing Fang, entitled Letters to My Younger Self, which will be directly followed by a brief making of documentary film on it. Enjoy.
Don't spend too much time thinking about the future that you miss the present.
Own your own journey and speak up when you feel strongly.
Whatever new challenges you face it with confidence.
There is a lot I want to say to you, and it's hard to know where to start.
I miss you, and I have something that I want you to know.
You're on the right track. Just keep going.
The project focuses on inspiring the younger generation, mainly those who are ages 11 to 14. Before creating this piece, I thought about myself around that age. So I thought about when we step into the studio to have their own improv, which means that I enjoy working with them not only by what I tell them what to do, but also finding a piece of themselves, how they move as a dancer.
Improving can be scary, especially if you haven't done it before. And she was just always so encouraging and always saying like, yeah, I like that, I really like that, I like how your body moves. With that, she would also encourage us like, go further, like you can do even more, your body can do it. And so she was a very, very encouraging person to work with.
We worked with the crane because it's the movement we can get in there, but it was much more structured like a theatre piece, so we shot it really sequentially and just handheld, trying to get the most fluid motion to follow the individual solos. And because we had 8 individual solos to pick from, it was just looking at a variety of shots that would bring out the choreography and also make it as dynamic as possible.
We wanted to create a very simple, very elegant ballet contemporary dance look that worked for the dancers. Quite uniform in colour, quite uniform in look, which was echoed within the hair and makeup as well.
Yeah, so the hair and makeup, we wanted to do something that was very slick and clean and looked very stylized. So there was a lot of like braiding and French plaits and very sleek French twists and things like that. And then these were able to be translated to when they were wearing their modern clothing as well.
For the outdoor filming part, we had our, like, what she called streetwear outfits, and we just kind of did takes of us like walking down the street, talking with each other, because she wanted to be like, you guys are close, you guys are friends, so like kind of want that vibe in the outdoor film.
I wanted to make sure there is a contrast between who they are as human beings and who they have become as dancers. To me, they're superhumans.
That was beautiful. Kenny, can you talk about your experience working with ZJ on this film?
One of the wonderful things for me for this whole process and project is collaboration and the intimacy of seeing another creative's process. It's a real privilege and honor, and also slightly daunting and terrifying. And what was wonderful is that both ZJ and Ethan were so very, very different in their approaches. So as a working choreographer, it was amazing to learn so much from both colleagues. I would say that ZJ's concept is much more traditional in nature, both the idea and the staging of it. She was a very, very, very hands-on creative from the beginning all the way through to the end. It was wonderful working with her on the edit, and she had a clear sense and vision for the piece. And I think what was really incredible to me is that she was a brand new mother and did this whole process with a newborn.
Yeah, she literally, when we asked her, she was like, well, I should be having a baby right around that time. She was like, but it's a month later. I think I can do it. You know, so it was like, I was just floored that she was even considering participating in this project. You know, so it really was amazing. Now, normally when we bring the students to a performance, they are seeing a ballet that is in our company's repertoire. And I think it's safe to say that often the ballet that they are attending probably was not choreographed with 12 to 16-year-olds in mind at the time it was choreographed. So this project was unique and special because the choreographers were creating these dance films exclusively with the students of Burberry Inspire in mind.
Yeah, exactly. The choreographers were actually using the same prompt of inspired places as the kids were to demonstrate all the ways we can be inspired and the endless opportunities to create something unique and original.
After Ethan Stiefel signed on to this project, he called me just a few days later with a thoroughly defined and intricate concept of a haunted house that he felt would really resonate with a teenage audience. So he, from the moment, I think that he set a tone from the very, very beginning that said that this is, you know, this is not just a program for students, a project for students, but it was really clear that these educational commissions would be treated just like any other ballet that would enter Northern Ballet's rep. I mean, there really was that level of sophistication and dedication and just truly treating it with respect.
Yeah, part of the reason we love Ethan's mind, the very unique individual, and just I think we were all on the same page. And both me and the artistic director of Northern Ballet, David Nixon, felt that it was a great opportunity for our company dancers, and he made them available to participate. It was also probably the first time that Northern Ballet utilized the entire building and staff for a project like this. Those silos that can normally form within an organization were completely broken down, and the entire company came together to support these creations using their creativity and passion. And it was just a wonderful thing to be part of.
Yeah, and now it's time for us to share our second film, Beneath the Surface by Ethan Stiefel. Would you like to set this one up for our audience a little bit?
Oh, I mean, the thing about Ethan is he stretched my imagination. He pushed, I think, the entire organization in the best possible way to try to imagine this beneath the surface world, these creatures. He really had the kids in mind, like you said before, for this project. And he was really trying to find a way of enticing a new audience and a younger audience and an audience perhaps that hadn't seen ballet into this world. Unfortunately, we weren't able to shoot it on location due to COVID, which meant that we ended up shooting it in our black box studio theatre, and that meant somewhat reimagining the original idea. But I think it worked a treat, and it really has created a magical underworld that I certainly wouldn't mind dancing in. So Beneath the Surface, I hope you enjoy.
thought somehow it would be cool just to explore this idea of surface, above and below, because you can translate that into something, or you can interpret it as something that's quite literal, or also something that is fairly abstract and fantastical.
The above world is based in reality, and the underworld really comes from his imagination. He's built a fantastical world that is full of creatures, I imagine, of his own imagination.
Ethan gave us the space and the freedom to explore our own characters. He encouraged us to be as wild as we could, and then we could always rein it back. But it was, we've all felt in a really safe space to create using our faces. You know, he wanted us to pull funny faces. You know, anything goes, really. It was a real freedom, and he created that atmosphere. Even over Zoom, he was able to transmit this feeling like, just go for it. It's great, it's fun, it's just dance. Like it's nothing to be too serious about.
We had to have 11 individual looks for each of the dancers involved, but they all had to be part of this big collective of this underworld creature that Ethan gave us lots of buzzwords of things that he wanted. Collaborating with Carly's costume design worked out a way that they could all have a base that was all the same and then have their own individual points. So, for example, I made a base foundation that was for the headdresses that was made from buckram, which is usually used for hat making, so it's a lot stronger. So essentially all the headdresses went on like a hat or a helmet, again to bring this kind of soldier insect uniform vibe. I worked in a few prosthetic pieces to try and make them look slightly more alien, so you know they were all essentially human but then had these aspects that took away their features, silicone mouthpieces to take away their mouths and lines breaking up the shapes of their faces.
In this occasion, we sourced the costumes from various high street stores and then used those bases to kind of break them down and kind of incorporate all those different features that Harriet was talking about. So for one dancer, we would take elements of the costume away and then we'd build different textures into them. Some of the costume fabrics, we used iridescent fabrics and a lot of textured fabrics that we thought would work well on the film.
The lighting for Ethan's piece was hugely specific to the world he was trying to create, and I think it's where light design becomes so important in transporting the viewer's imagination into a completely different world. And we're lucky enough here to have Alistair West, and he worked really closely with Ethan and myself on exactly how we could create these little pockets within our black box theatre and this striking lighting to resemble a completely different world. The way that it becomes part of the movement when it's on the crane, because that single arm can move just like dance, was a lovely extension for us. There's a lot of handheld always, because for me it's the handheld and the sculptural nature of whoever's behind that makes the difference of how the movement is choreographed.
There were moments when Emily was filming us and she got right into all the action, so there were some fun moments actually when we were dancing but also aware of where she was in space. One, so we didn't bump into her, but two, just so we can catch the camera or to move around it in a very organic way.
We were also very keen for the overworld to incorporate the drone and I guess really go from a huge expanse of a natural environment down into this dingy, creature-filled environment.
I suppose if there's something that I hope the audience comes away with after watching the piece is potentially something they may already realize, is just kind of how fundamental dance is. So in essence, whether you're coming from a place that is beneath the surface or above the surface, that there is something that really is compelling and important about dance in terms of it being a means of expression and a means of communication.
Wow. How were you able to create such a detailed world with a choreographer thousands of miles away choreographing and directing in his kitchen?
The honest answer was a lot of virtual time and the wonders of Zoom. No, in all seriousness, it was a lot of people who played a huge part in this, and every department, as I think you can see in the making of, came together. And Ethan just really took the time to spend and make his vision as clear as possible, both articulately with his language, but also with mood boards and visions and ideas. And I think that's how it was done. And I think what we were all incredibly impressed with was just how quickly it became a normalized situation working through these little virtual rooms. And from the dancers' point of view, I think they found it really intimate, and the concentration levels of the room to watch them, the way they were taking in the information for someone on the screen. I guess it's so much part of our lives now. It was so quickly normal. I think at this point, it's really important to say how important this Burberry Inspire program is, because we've kind of stumbled upon this incredible new model for making work, in that we can beam a choreographer in from halfway around the world. And it's giving companies of all sizes this wonderful ability to open their pool of creatives. And suddenly now you can collaborate with anybody in any time zone. It can be worked out. We've proved that with this Burberry Inspire. It's not only an economically efficient model, it's also environmentally friendly and sustainable, which I think moving forward, it will really be taking into serious consideration how we use this in future commissions. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone involved, because I think we found the gem of a way of moving forward and working together that's both exciting. Yeah.
Well, we set off in November to inspire the students working in our programs, but I think we very well may have found something that will inspire other artists and companies around the globe, like you said. While COVID has disrupted so much, it has opened up a world of possibilities, partnerships, friendships, and collaborative pieces of art, which we were honored to share with you today. I can proudly speak for both organizations when I say that this partnership would have never forged without the tremendous support of the Burberry Foundation and their trust in us to navigate these challenging times, which, as these films demonstrated, brought out the best in all of us. I would like to close by giving a big thank you to Kenneth for joining us today, and also for being the ringmaster that worked so hard to support the choreographers and bring their visions to life. Our choreographers, ZJ and Ethan, along with all of the talented dancers and artists from Northern Ballet who thoughtfully worked through a pandemic to make such beautiful pieces of art. Adam Crystal and Giovanni Spinelli, the two brilliant composers who, without their generosity, these films never would have been made. The Burberry Foundation for inviting our organizations to join the groundbreaking Burberry Inspire initiative in the first place. Creative Arts Team for producing today's event, who along with the Ideas Foundation are the force that supports and keeps all of the partners moving forward. All of our colleagues at both ABT and Northern Ballet that worked on the films, and the amazing teaching artists who have inspired and led our Burberry Inspire students via Zoom, Google Meet, and believe it or not, even a few times in person this year. And finally, thank you for joining us today. We are honored to share the incredible work of all the artists that found a way to create a magical cultural experience for all of our Burberry Inspire students. Thank you so much for your time.